Thanks everyone for joining us today as we talk about securing your data, or a little more specifically about how to secure your SOLIDWORKS data and manage your environment. My name is Travis Jones. I'm one of the application experts here at MLC CAD Systems. I work out of our Dallas, Texas office, and like the rest of the team, my job is to ensure customer success. At MLC, we ensure customer success in several ways. Our goal at MLC is to connect you with the best tools for the job and to ensure that you are successful in their use. We do this by providing things like in-person and online trainings conducted by experienced instructors to ensure that you have the knowledge and skills to fully leverage your software's capabilities. We also offer self-paced learning resources and best practice documentation, and both are created by our team of experts and provided through our partnership with Solid Professor, where you can access high-quality on-demand training resources on a variety of engineering software. And all of this is covered by our dedicated tech support team, who's available to assist you with any software-related questions or issues that arise, providing prompt and effective resolutions to keep operations running smoothly and efficiently. We also recognize that every business has their own unique challenges and may require custom training curriculum, programming solutions, auditing, and a number of other items. Data security, which we're talking about today, often falls into this category you see here with software and server components that are sized and configured to match your company's processes. So as we discuss the offerings today, please consider giving us the opportunity to meet with your team, learn more about your unique challenges and advantages, and develop a personalized plan that ensures your success going forward. Now, what we're going to cover today is the security and management of your CAD and engineering data. We're going to talk about why we need to take different steps for CAD data than we do for almost all other intellectual property, what tools we have at our disposal, the challenges that come along with implementing and adopting these tools, and what solutions we at MLC can provide to these challenges. So let's get started with the term management and why it's so important for CAD files and what makes it different from simply where you store and access your data from. SOLIDWORKS assemblies and drawings contain a file reference to the components that make them up. For instance, when you open a drawing, it must go search for the parts that are on the drawing so the drawing views are up to date and reflect any changes that have been made to the parts since the drawing was last opened. This is part of what makes SOLIDWORKS so powerful, but these references often go unnoticed by users and can be quite complex if you use advanced techniques that create things like in-context references or link to external files of any type. These largely invisible file references must be updated when a part is renamed or moved. Maybe you've run into these warning messages before. When SOLIDWORKS searches for a part to populate a drawing, it does this by file name and in an order that's fastest for a computer, but maybe not the most intuitive for a human. You might think it goes straight to the location written in the drawing's reference file list, but that's actually not the case. For instance, it first checks if a file by that name is already open and loaded into RAM. If it is, it's instant to display that part. If it can't be found, then next it checks to see if any locations have been prioritized and specified in the reference document list found in the SOLIDWORKS system options. Then SOLIDWORKS checks in the path of the document that is currently open, then the location you last opened a file from, the last place it successfully found a reference file in, and so forth. If the file can't be found, like in cases where it's been manually renamed or relocated, you'll be asked to browse for it manually, or it'll simply be suppressed and missing from the drawing. Perhaps an even more dangerous situation occurs if there are two files with the same name in existence. You can see from the search order it's very possible for SOLIDWORKS to find the wrong part, even if it's not in the same folder or on the same hard drive as the drawing. This file may look the same and be named the same, but if you're seeing a warning that a reference document has non-matching internal IDs, then SOLIDWORKS is telling you it's not the same file as the last time it was opened. Fundamentally, any system that manages data instead of simply just being a storage device actually does two things. It manages the file references and controls who has access to the files. These two functions eliminate issues with missing parts on drawings and assemblies. They ensure we're working with the most up-to-date version of the file and prevent accidentally overwriting the work. They also allow multiple users to work on projects at the same time, provide visibility to who's working on what, and control what data users can view or modify. At its core, a data management system requires a relational database to do its job. Now, there are some tricks that all SOLIDWORKS users can take advantage of with its multi-user environment system setting, such as the option to toggle the read-only flag on files by right-clicking. And even without these setting changes, SOLIDWORKS adds some helpful functions to your right-click menu in Windows, such as pack and go, rename, and move to help manage file references. But you've got to be proactive to use these. Just remember, if you do get into a reference issue, it's a good time to call MLC's tech support, and we're happy to help you guys find a remedy. Now that we know kind of what the difference is between storage and management, we also want to talk about performance and why it's important. Maybe you remember this scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the one where little Mike TV gets beamed inside of an actual TV. Well, that's actually not unlike how data is transferred from one spot to another. It gets broken down into data packets, given some reassembly instructions, and sent through the pipe to the other end. Can you imagine what might happen if packets are lost? If poor Mike TV's legs made it across, but the power went out, and the packets that made up his torso never showed up? Well, hopefully they've got a good backup and recovery process, otherwise things could get messy. A data management system keeps a copy on the server, notes that it's checked out to a user like a library book, and then sends a copy to the local machine. In this way, you've always got local performance, no matter what your network speeds. Bandwidth changes throughout the day, sometimes even drastically. By caching locally, we reduce overall network traffic for the company and protect ourselves from potential data corruption by maintaining a copy of the data on both sides. The system actually compares what we have locally versus what is on the server, and it only needs to transfer the changes back and forth. You'll also find that searching for files in a database, which is essentially the card catalog of our library of files, can go much deeper into the file information and with tremendously greater performance than searching a traditional folder structure. I'm sure you know what I mean if you've been relying on the search that's built into Windows. Windows indexing is much slower than trying to search something like a SQL database, which we'll discuss later. Along with performance, the other thing that we need to consider is also how we control these files throughout their life cycle. Once we have a system in place that takes care of the essential business of managing that data and just storing it, we can incorporate the company processes and policies that govern that data. Take, for example, this really simple workflow. When I create and check in a new part into the system, it enters the work in progress state. In this state, all engineers have permission to check out and modify that file until it's submitted for approval. And at this time, an engineering manager receives a notification that the file is now awaiting review. He can kick it back for changes or approve the file for manufacturing. On approval, the date, approver signature, and Rev A are all going to be added to the part and its drawing. We can also automate a step file and a PDF to be generated and appear in a folder that manufacturing has visibility to. The part now sits in its release state, and engineers can see that file, but we've now removed write permissions so they can no longer modify that file. And in fact, they're going to have to go ahead and send that file back through the workflow and request a change and start a new revision process. As a bonus, this process gives us a design history. We can now quickly retrieve a copy of the file as if it was. We can now quickly retrieve a copy of the file as it was after every check-in and revision. We can see who made what changes and when, and this is really just kind of the tip of the iceberg as we manage our data with governing approval workflows and company processes. So those are just kind of three of the major top-level items for why we need some sort of data management solution, especially when it comes to SOLIDWORKS. Now what we're going to take a look at are three really robust solutions from a software standpoint that you can use to manage your SOLIDWORKS data or other company data. The first tool for the job may be something you already have and are just not utilizing, and that's because it comes included with every seat of SOLIDWORKS since July 1st, 2023. This product, called Cloud Services for SOLIDWORKS, is primarily a data management tool delivered by connecting to Dassault Systems' 3D Experience cloud platform. It's licensed by an email address instead of a serial number and simply requires logging in and installing the add-in for SOLIDWORKS. Because this is a cloud service, this means that the server is provided by Dassault Systems on their end, so there's no hardware to buy, server software for you to install, or IT department to deal with. The server software is always going to be up to date, and you gain all the benefits of a cloud system such as remote access. In fact, if you regularly work with SOLIDWORKS users that are external to your company, cross-company license sharing is also allowed, making it ideal for connecting data between companies. Cloud Services also takes care of the data translation if you're going to work with other 3D Experience connected software, such as high-end simulation tools or online CAD tools. This means you can update your design in SOLIDWORKS and watch that update flow into the other software, or vice versa, creating a truly connected ecosystem. It's all powered by a technology called Innovia, And if you have 3D Experience SOLIDWORKS or have tried out SOLIDWORKS for Makers, these data management tools come pre-installed. What we're looking at here is really just the beginning, with licensing available to extend the functionality to higher level lifecycle tasks such as advanced bill of material management, project planning and tracking, dashboards for KPIs, and a whole lot more. Another underutilized resource is SOLIDWORKS PDM Standard, which is available to everyone with a SOLIDWORKS Professional and Premium license. This leverages a solid network license manager to float licenses to the users across your network on an as-needed basis. While it does require having a server, it runs on the free Microsoft SQL Express software. Once the components are installed and configured, end-user onboarding is generally quite quick since it all runs inside of the familiar Windows Explorer and SOLIDWORKS interface. This is a technology that was developed in-house by SOLIDWORKS and provides a simple growth path to a professional level of software with more advanced capabilities down the road. Speaking of PDM Professional, previously known as Enterprise PDM with an initial release back in 2009, SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional is the most robust data management system available for SOLIDWORKS, but really manages all file types and is a great solution for the entire company, not just the engineering or design team. In addition, the system supports replication to multiple servers so businesses can operate from sites around the globe. This does require a full license of Microsoft SQL for a database that is relatively unlimited in its ability to capture company workflows, email notifications, web server access, automated tasks, templatized projects, third-party integrations, and a whole lot more is all available within SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional. Now, if you'd like to take those capabilities even further, just like with cloud services, SOLIDWORKS PDM users can extend functionality into the PLM or product lifecycle management functions using a product called SOLIDWORKS Manage. This tool is built on top of the SOLIDWORKS PDM Foundation and provides features for managing advanced bills of materials, resources, and projects. Real-time data visualization is also available through customizable dashboards, which can provide insights into project progress, performance, and resource utilization. A suite of project management tools, including Gantt charts, tasking, and capacity planning features, make it easy to schedule and track project milestones, allocate resources, and manage project timelines. All in all, SOLIDWORKS Manage offers a complete product lifecycle management solutions for users who are looking to extend the functionality of SOLIDWORKS PDM to the highest level. So we've seen a brief overview of a few solutions when it comes to data management and SOLIDWORKS. We don't have time to go into all the details for exactly what's offered in each package and what your company specifically might be able to take advantage of, but we'll talk later about how we can set up a meeting to discuss the details and find a right-sized solution for your company. Now that we know why we need a data management solution and what tools are out there for us to adopt, we're also going to discuss some of the challenges we need to consider when adopting a data management solution or managing one in-house, starting with some of the high-level company challenges. Data management software is incredibly powerful, but it does require some dedication to get the best return. Arguably, the most important step is the initial setup and implementation, because without prior experience, companies often don't know how to set up PDM or what best practices should be used to get the most out of that system. In addition, moving your existing data into a new PDM environment is also something that could present a challenge. Much like moving into a new house, you're excited to get moved in, but packing everything up and getting it all organized again can be a chore. Without proper planning, migrations can be a little bit messy, but MLC has a lot of strategies that we've refined over the years to help companies officially migrate from their current solution into a dedicated data management solution. Once PDM is set up, it's important that employees are onboarded with proper training on how to use the system, and likewise it's important that PDM can be adapted to changing processes and growing companies. With all of these tasks and challenges to consider, a healthy PDM environment needs someone to look after it, and that's where the PDM admin comes in. We'll talk more about the admin responsibilities in a minute, but as a maintainer of PDM, if the admin suddenly leaves your organization, it can understandably cause a bit of disruption. When it comes to PDM Standard and Professional, there's a little more to manage on the IT side. For starters, PDM admins are tasked with installing software for anybody that uses PDM, and because this resides on a server, they also have to maintain that PDM server with items like SQL database maintenance, system backups, as well as overseeing the network infrastructure to ensure that client PCs remain connected to the server. For PDM Professional, admins might also be responsible for managing PDM logins through Active Directory, or managing how PDM communicates and integrates with other systems like ERP. Furthermore, admins also plan and execute yearly upgrades for PDM to bring the clients and server up to the latest software release. Now, managing PDM on the IT side is really only half the battle. A good PDM admin should also have proficient knowledge in the engineering design process, specifically as it relates to their company. Since PDM environments are highly configurable, this engineering knowledge is critical for setting up PDM as a tool that's both powerful and efficient when used by the design team. These tasks include the setup and maintenance of data cards to make important data easy to access and highly visible, as well as managing workflows to facilitate revision control, approvals, data automation, as well as managing user and group permissions to ensure the right data is in the right hands at the right time. We've mentioned the PDM admin a couple times, so what is a PDM admin? Put simply, a PDM admin is responsible for maintaining everything PDM related in order to ensure that PDM delivers efficient and secure management of all design files and related documentation. In reality, this means that the role of the PDM admin is often a hybrid between IT and engineering. Knowing what the admin is responsible for, you can probably already imagine that managing PDM could present some challenges for a few companies out there. Oftentimes, just finding someone with the skills in both IT and engineering is kind of the first major hurdle, but there are some other common challenges that we find while working with our customers. PDM systems are highly configurable and can be a little bit complex to set up and maintain. It's critical that this system is configured in a way that's efficient to use, complies with industry standards, and is adaptable to change. Ensuring the system is configured correctly to meet the specific needs of the company can be a challenging task, and it's one you want to make sure that you plan sufficiently for to ensure that the configuration and implementation is successful and that the time frame for implementation isn't too lengthy. Also, at some companies, especially those with a smaller workforce, they may not be able to justify the cost of employing a full-time PDM admin. Instead, the PDM admin role might fall on somebody like an engineering manager, SOLIDWORKS power user, or somebody else that has other daily tasks to focus on besides PDM. And this can often mean that PDM tasks like configuration changes or end-user tech support are fulfilled just when they get around to it, not necessarily in a time-sensitive manner. It's also likely that a part-time admin is just doing their best to try and maintain PDM and still carry out their other daily tasks. So PDM kind of lives in a current state rather than being driven forward or reconfigured for new functionality that could improve the company's process. The last challenge I want to highlight is PDM software updates. Updating PDM to the latest version requires careful planning to minimize production downtime and avoid data loss. With updates only occurring about once a year at most, it's hard for PDM admins to become well-versed in the update process. So a lot of times they'll decide to reach out to MLC, and we're happy to work with our customers to provide upgrade and migration services as needed. But if companies don't have a plan in place for upgrades, then sometimes they'll unfortunately decide not to upgrade, or they upgrade less frequently. And that means they're missing out on new functionality and new security updates that are released on a yearly basis. The last set of challenges we're going to talk about are for the end users themselves. So a PDM system enforces the rules of the road, and it's like a policeman for our data and our company processes. This can take some time to get used to, and the benefits are only realized if you're 100% in the system. Having one user who saves files to their desktop or never checks things in whenever they make changes can provide a weak link that breaks the entire chain. End users need to not only play by the rules, but understand why we're playing by certain rules and understand item specifics like custom templates, libraries, and workflows in order to carry out their job efficiently. Their job should be enhanced by the data management system, which will speed up their daily work, not burdened by it and seen as a challenge. This takes proper setup of the user's profile into groups with appropriate permissions. It also requires sufficient end-user training and, most importantly, knowing where to go for answers when questions arise. So we're now at the point where we've seen why we need data management, what tools are out there, what challenges we might need to be aware of. Now we want to talk about solutions that can help you avoid these challenges and ensure that you have a very efficient, powerful tool at your disposal for managing all of your company's data. The first solution I'd like to introduce you to is MLC's PDM Administration Service. You can now offload the complexities of SOLIDWORKS PDM administration to our team of Dassault Systems certified PDM experts with real experience administering PDM systems since the software's very first release. Along the way, we've developed our own best practices and guides, and we leverage them to configure right-sized solutions for our customers. As companies grow, employees shift, and infrastructure and IT demands change, MLC can be a single point of contact through all these transitions and provide a history for all of your CAD needs. So allow us the opportunity to align with your team and save you the time and the headache of the dynamic and cross-discipline role that is PDM administration. So what's all included in the PDM administration service and what are the prerequisites? Well, the administration service is really about managing an existing PDM system. So if you don't have a PDM system in place, then the first step is to get one implemented and get everybody trained on how to use it. We can incorporate an implementation into part of that service, so we help you set up and develop an efficient, out-of-the-box PDM environment from day one, and we can help you maintain that, grow, and develop it in the future as your company needs evolve. In addition, we can also even host the server hardware and a number of other server components you see here as a turnkey solution, which we'll talk about later. But essentially, the PDM administration service covers anything that requires accessing a server or PDM administration tool. So this could be things like client installs, setting up user and group permissions, creating new users, helping you map out and develop data cards to make important data for your company like part numbers, descriptions, SKUs, any item that you guys feel is necessary for your process. We can help you guys make that information visible on a data card where it's easy to access. And we can also set up workflows and help you develop things like revision schemes, approval processes, data automation with automatic PDF and maybe DXF creation. There's a number of things that we can help you guys with all the way through server maintenance and system upgrades. And of course, expert advice and guidance along the way should you guys run into any questions. Now, if we're going to be your PDM admin, kind of a lot like getting into a long-term relationship with somebody, if you're going to get married to somebody, you want to know a little bit about them or have some trust established. And luckily with a lot of our customers, if not all of them, we've got a great relationship with everybody that we've worked with over the years. Now, if you're newer to MLC, I'd like to take this second to just quickly kind of give you guys my opinion on our expertise. And at MLC, our motto is unbeatable service. So in my opinion and my thoughts on why our PDM administration service is truly unbeatable, well, we've been in business for over 40 years, and over that time, we've had the pleasure of working alongside our customers as partners with the goal of understanding their business, their challenges, and desired outcomes in order to offer advice and solutions. Likewise, our customers actually help us learn. We get exposed to every industry, process, business model, crazy part numbering scheme, you name it. We get to see all the unique ways that data management can be applied. We want the opportunity to learn about your company and data management needs so that we can both grow our businesses together and help you guys develop a long-term strategy to manage your data into the future. Now, when we talk about these administration services, one of the big things that everyone wants to know is, what's it going to cost and kind of what's my return? And the cost will vary. We'll have to sit down with you guys just so we get a better understanding of what your needs are and what your data management solution looks like. But just to talk from a high level, there's a lot of value here, not just in doing things better and faster, but also doing them for less. Today, $100,000 is just above the median starting salary for a level 2 mechanical engineer in Texas, according to salary.com. And if we just take kind of some middle range estimates that you see here on the number of hours spent managing a PDM system, and we're not even talking about creating new workflows or major process changes, just the kind of day in and day out maintenance of PDM could eat up almost a full week of time across a small team of engineers every single month. That's not only $20,000 in costs for managing the PDM environment, but you're actually talking about another $20,000 in lost engineering time. So in many cases, it makes a lot of sense to allocate this work to a dedicated resource like MLC. We can handle your PDM challenges, which we're well versed at, and we can get your engineers back to engineering and creating new products to drive your company into the future. Another option for how to get started is a process audit. If you have an unregulated process, an existing PDM system, or just simply want us to take a look through and kind of get a high-level view of your current situation, I highly recommend starting off with a process audit. There's no better opportunity to document in a report the current procedures and software utilization and prepare a path forward. Along with known bottlenecks, this process audit will turn up opportunities for greater efficiency, better resource utilization, and allows you to scope out and right-size potential solutions. From here, choosing which obstacle to tackle first comes down to a matter of priority. A process audit builds you a roadmap to success and puts you in the driver's seat. Much like if we're driving to a destination, if you want to know how to get somewhere, first step is you got to know where you're at currently. So a process audit is a lot of times a really great place to start. The next item we'll talk about is an implementation. So we kind of mentioned that some of you guys may not have a PDM system in place. You don't currently have a data management solution outside of just maybe storing files on a network drive. And by definition, an implementation is just a process that puts a system in place and gets it up and running. So for PDM, this could be as simple as just putting the tools in your hands and kind of showing you how to use them, all the way up to fully custom configured solution, which codifies your workflows to track and change engineering data. We'll help you right-size the infrastructure, install the software components, configure the system, get your team trained up on how to use it, and begin the adoption process. So whether you're looking for training to just help you get started, maybe looking for a simple solution that you can grow into in the future, or looking for a fully tailored solution that's ready to go right out of the box, your ability to adopt a solution with a clear path for growth is our end goal. As we've discussed some of the solutions like PDM Standard and PDM Professional, we've mentioned that both of these solutions require some server infrastructure. In order to eliminate server infrastructure requirements and IT overhead, MLC can take care of the server side of things completely. This would be a dedicated server for your company, hosted in a data center, so worldwide bandwidth and uptime is excellent. And it's your server, so you can use it for anything, but we do primarily build it just for SOLIDWORKS server products like PDM and Manage. This service gets bundled with a VPN and additional services such as annual upgrades and backups. Maybe the best part is what the service does not include, and that'd be things like scheduling three-way calls with IT and SOLIDWORKS support to even look at the server. There's no concerns about server setup, performance configuration, disaster recovery, and remote access issues either. If you're interested in a managed server host, or you're looking for a low-cost monthly server hosting solution, let us know. So to look back on what we've covered, we've taken a look at why we need data management systems, especially when it comes to our SOLIDWORKS data. We've also seen some software solutions out there that can help us adopt various strategies for data management, along with some of the challenges that we need to watch out for when implementing a data management strategy. And finally, we've taken a look at the services that MLC CAD Systems offers to customers to help you guys succeed in the long term, whether that's managing your PDM administration, helping you set up the initial implementation, or offloading some of the server requirements to us to just make your process more efficient and let you guys focus on the tasks that help your company succeed. Thanks again, and I look forward to talking with each and every one of you guys about your data management needs to see if we can develop a success plan and a roadmap for the future.